A very warm welcome to the Art Vlog, Art Lovers, with me, George Dopamine. Hopefully you can see behind me. Today we're at the Royal Academy. To bring you a bit of a late one actually, this is the William Kentridge show, which only runs until December. So I'm sorry I'm a tiny bit late, but you still might want to watch this review and come. To make up for that, we've got a very special guest here today. For the first time since the Ashmolean show in Oxford, we have PJ Arthur.
Hello everyone, nice to see you again.
Brilliant. I mean, PJ, we both kind of don't know that much about William Kentridge, do we? I haven't seen much of his work, but I do know he's multidisciplinary. He's done prints, he's done videos, he's done murals, he's done sculptures. So it should be a good show. Are you looking forward to it?
Absolutely. I mean, I know nothing about him, so it's a real kind of leap into the unknown. Looking forward to it.
We're kind of Kentridge virgins. I mean, he's got a massive reputation as South African. So he's been working through the late apartheid period, post-apartheid period, and into the modern South Africa. So come and join us as we head inside the Royal Academy.
See you later.
Okay, so we just come out of the William Kentridge show. I have to say, first of all, it's an epic sweep through this artist's career. Me and PJ said before coming in that we didn't know much about him at all. Well, we certainly do now. This is a very, very big exhibition, isn't it, PJ? What were your initial thoughts?
Well, George, my mind was blown. I mean, there was so much to see. For someone, as I said at the start, I didn't know anything about him. It was a lot to take on, but in a really good way, in an interesting way. But I'm not feeling kind of happy coming out of that. Really, there's a lot to think about. I think. Would you agree with that, George?
I would. I mean, I think that, like, when we might say it's not an uplifting show in the content, and that's probably because Kentridge grew up and sort of grew up as an artist in a troubled country, didn't he? And that comes across in lots and lots of the works.
Absolutely. I mean, beautiful drawings and such.
Yeah.
It was really amazing, and there are lots of films in there as well. So there are stills of what he's done, and there are films, aren't there, of his kind of animations, which are absolutely wonderful and really well executed. But yes, you can definitely feel that, especially in his earlier work.
The subject matter.
Absolutely, terrible.
Yeah, as I suppose it's reflecting the history of South Africa and what's been a really traumatic and difficult history. I would say, as a show, it's incredibly vibrant. I mean, it's very well curated, as you've hopefully seen from my highlights. The the way that the films have been put together with the drawings and the sort of, I suppose, not so many sculptures, but it's a really, really excellent overview of this artist's work. We didn't know much about him. We really do, because this show is incredibly comprehensive. And I don't know if you noticed, PJ, but the most of these works are held in South Africa, which is, I suppose, why we don't know so much. We don't see so much of him here, do we? Even though he's like an international name.
Absolutely, that makes sense. But the music, I think, I just mentioned that as well as part of what you were saying, but that really kind of drew me towards certain areas. There was one particular one about the tides. I can't remember exactly the name of it. You'll probably remember it later. But I went across to it because it was a fantastic sound, and I thought, gosh, amazing African music and singing. I'll go over here, it sounds really happy, and you see people jumping in the waves and such like. And then it kind of twists. It kind of it becomes about decay and becomes about being watched. And I imagine that's what it might have been like for many people at that point. So it really kind of brought it home to me, the menace underlying even those potentially really happy family experiences.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. He's an incredibly political artist, isn't he? And almost like even the nature paintings, the titles of them, the plant, the flowers and the trees were political works. And there's just this grasp of the whole of Africa. That one of the last pieces which I showed you, was analysing Chinese influence today in Africa, wasn't it? Which is just fascinating. So this show is incredibly diverse, and because Kentridge is still alive, he's drawn some work on the walls, hasn't he? Which we will, I imagine, will disappear after this show. So it is a really rich show. It's only on until the 11th of December, as I said at my intro. It was a bit late, and it's £20 to get in, which actually I think is good value, with the warning that really, if you want to explore all the film works, and there's an opera work as well, isn't there, a chamber opera, then you're going to have to spend a good half day here, aren't you? I mean, we didn't. I think, if we're honest, we didn't watch every single minute of every single film. We were sort of taking them in. We both watched different films to be able to get some overall, so we could discuss it afterwards over a beer and a carver. But generally, it would take a long time, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah.
But the definite highlights. I mean, at the end, I think we were completely dumbstruck at the end. I certainly was, about Sybil right at the end.
Yeah, that opera, chamber opera, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Just amazing, and really thought-provoking about the nature of existence generally. So to consider that death, sorry, it's not very uplifting, but death is inside us all, and it's growing like a tree. you know, which is kind of very wise words, very sobering words. So I think we're going to go off and have a good time after this, George, aren't we?
I think we're going to have to,
our way to the grave.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I think that's really interesting because, as PJ said, the subject matter is kind of incredibly, in some cases, dark and difficult. But the show itself is exuberant. There's a really good exhibit like room on the studio which you saw. The films, it's just incredibly creatively put together, so I wholeheartedly recommend it. I would personally give this a 8.5 out of 10. What would you agree?
I would agree, actually, yes.
And I think, you know, if it wasn't coming to the end of its run, I would 100% be back. I mean, I think you need to visit it a couple of times if you can afford it, which obviously is really tough in the cost of living, but it's generally a really excellent overview of this artist, incredibly important global artist who we were kind of getting to know really for the first time in the flesh, so to speak, today. Don't forget to subscribe to the Art Vlog, hit that notification bell for more reviews and previews of upcoming shows across London, the South East of England and beyond. See you later, guys.